Hey everybody, this is Travis with the Don't Read the Comments podcast. Tune in this week from kickoff to the end of the game. We're going to be doing another game companion, so if you don't want to hear the BS that they're talking, mute that, turn us on. We're probably going to start day drinking pretty early, so it might get a little crazy. This time we're going to have Ty Hudson from the Tuss Talk with Ty podcast in here with us. At halftime, we're going to do a Spaces, same as last week. Then once the game's over, we're going to host Ty's post-game show on our channel and his simultaneously. So get ready to drink. Let's get it.
All right, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope your week was good. Let's do this. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, hold on. I'm not fully ready. Let me just get this bad boy up here. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yo! It's Flamingo Friday. Glasses on top of glasses. It's a vibe. 2 pairs of glasses, man. It's a vibe. You only get it if you try it from time to time. I don't know. I mean, if you've got luscious brown locks like I do for a limited time until they start falling out, until I start going bald, which is happening, by the way. If you've got the luscious brown locks, you could do this. Hell, even if you're bald, you could do this. But there's a certain vibe that we're going for here. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Definitely a vibe. Yeah, I hope you guys had a great week. We have some interesting football tonight, actually. I don't know if you guys caught some of these games, but you've got Utah tonight, number 10 Utah at number 19 Oregon State, who has a certain transfer quarterback from Clemson, who, by the way, Oregon State, I said would be like one of my surprise teams of college football this year. I think so far that's kind of true. They are 19th in the country, but they play tonight at 8 p.m. I really want to watch that game if I have the opportunity. I am going to watch Ninja Turtles tonight. I've got that Paramount Plus thing going on. You know, I got the Paramount Plus thing. So it's on Paramount Plus right now for free. So me and the daughters, we're going to watch some Ninja Turtles. I'm kind of excited. I've had one person tell me it was Cheeks, bro. He said he fell asleep. He said, I fell asleep, man. That kind of bummed me out. I was like, wait, what? Really? No, I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that it's good. All right. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. Arkansas playing A&M tomorrow, 11 o'clock. We have some SEC matchups. Also, we can kind of briefly go over here in a little bit. But before we do, shout out to Patreon supporters. If you are already a Patreon supporter, you already know you're a rock star. If you guys want to join, I really urge you to do so. We're trying to grow this thing as much as possible. I'm putting in a lot of work trying to get this thing going and trying to keep Patreon afloat. For those of you who have have stuck it out and hung around, I appreciate you. And to the new folks also, we've gained a few over the last couple of months. Here's an interesting game. Go OK State. Can't go wrong with Ninja Turtles, says Go Hogs. Flamingo Friday is back, we see, says Mark Douglas. It is. It is, my friend. It is back. So we need to come up with a poll today. We need a poll. Hang on, let me check the. I gotta get the retweets here. Where's it at? There we go. There you go. Make sure you guys are retweeting, huh? Sharing the content. That matters a lot too. So yeah, we got some interesting matchups this weekend. Someone says Oklahoma State. Who they got this weekend? Who's Oklahoma State playing? Aren't they bad this year? Isn't Oklahoma State kind of not good? They don't even play this weekend. Who said Oklahoma State? You got Cincinnati at BYU. Maybe I should take off the sunglasses. I'm not going to lie to you. These lights are really bright, so it actually kind of helps. Kansas at Texas. That ought to be a good one. 2:30 p.m. on ABC. Houston at T-Tech. Don't know what to make of that game. Baylor at UCF. Iowa State at Oklahoma. Boy, oh boy, they've got some heat going on at Iowa State. That head coach. But yeah, I guess the games to watch out are obviously anything involving Texas, and you got Kansas on the road at Texas. Cincinnati at BYU, 2 teams Arkansas has played the last 2 years. You're 1 for 2 in those 2 games. Should be 2-0. I think next week is supposed to be a big week in the Big 12, right? Don't they have a couple of really good games? Yeah, you got Oklahoma, of course you got the Red River. UCF at KU. Ooh, that might actually be pretty good. Kansas State at Oklahoma State next weekend. But the SEC is what matters most. We'll go over those games here in just a minute. Let's read some chat here. What's up, Ty? What's up, Cameron Gray? How you doing? I think he got it confused. Are you talking to me or are you talking to whoever? Yeah, because Oklahoma State doesn't play this weekend. I don't think they're any good. I think they're they're booty cheeks this year. Maybe did they turn it around? I just haven't caught it yet. Poll over under and how many times the TV flips to Jerry Jones. Oh, that's it right there, Mark. How many times do the TV flips to Jerry Jones in his luxury suite as they talk about his connection to the University of Arkansas? Yeah. You said Oregon State. My fault. Yeah. That's the game. That's the game, Cameron. That's the game right there. That actually it could be one of the better games this weekend. I mean, I know there's, we got a couple to talk about. Yeah, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida, Kentucky. Yeah. Shout out to our sponsors, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. They are the do-it-all garage door company, huh? Located or they operate in Central Arkansas and in Northwest Arkansas. Free estimates, you guys. It's free. Just call them up. 501-244-3667. And, of course, the Odd Soul Craft Bar Pizzaria located in Springdale on Emma Street. Fantastic pies. Good stuff on tap. Listen, the Razorbacks are going to be back here soon. And if you're in town, go buy the Odd Soul. Or you got basketball around the corner. We're going to talk about Trevon Brazile here in a minute. You got basketball around the corner. I mean, November's not that far, guys. You're going to come into town. You're going to want to watch your Razorbacks. You're going to want to watch them, and you're going to want to eat, I don't know, some good pies. Why not go venture over to the Odd Soul? Tell them Ty Hudson sent you from Tuss Talk. They'll be like, oh, yeah, we love Ty. All right. What's up, Ty? How you doing, Jeremy McCollum? How's it going, man? This game could make or break the rest of our season, says Go Hogs. Oh, you know what I can do now in here, you guys? This is the first time ever. I was going to wait to do it until next week. First time ever. I don't have much left. I've got a little bit of a cigar left to smoke here. Oh, that wasn't a very good cut. I'm trying to cut off the burnt end. Oh, baby. Here we go. That's what we can do in here. First time ever. We're breaking it in. Yeah, that's what we can do. Although I don't have a water. Oh, man. If you guys didn't catch it, I'm going to be doing I'm going to be live all day tomorrow with these guys right here. I talked about it on Wednesday. Don't read the comments podcast. I'll leave that. Maybe I should have cut out their logo and put it somewhere. We'll be live tomorrow with Don't Read the podcast. There'll be 2 lives. It'll be here on Tuss Talk with Ty, and it'll be on their podcast as well. Go over there and give them a shout out, man. Tim and Travis, they're funny, good show, and they love their hogs. Travis, I think, is the homer. Tim's the realist of the two. All right, we got a super chat. Tercer says, if we blow this one again, we may have to rename this game the Ben Franklin Special because of how we always invent a new way to lose. That's pretty creative, actually. Yeah, this thing's dried out. Okay. That's a good cigar. Breathing in some of the smoke. See, I wish I had a water. Sad but true, says Cameron Gray. I'm telling you, man. A lot of these games decided by single digits. And we're gonna break it down just a little bit. You guys know we're gonna go into the numbers just a little bit. We also know that they're not gonna have their starting quarterback for this game. No Wakeman. In comes Max Johnson for Texas A&M. Let's start with the Travon Brazil news first. Let's do this. Let's get into the Brazil talk. By the way, thank you for the super chat, Tercer. Thank you so much. This is from WholeHogSports.com. A guy who I like a lot. I know some of you guys, don't like his line of questioning, but Bob Holt. This is from Bob Holt over there. And he says, Trevon Brazil participated in drills during the Arkansas men's basketball team's practice Thursday, but he watched from the side when the Razorbacks went 5-on-5. Going through full scrimmage, going through full-scale scrimmaging is the final step in Brazil's comeback from surgery after he tore something in his right knee. We'll just say that. I can't pronounce that word. Cruciate? Anterior cruciate ligament, whatever. We know he messed up his – that's the ACL. That's what that is. It's the ACL. But I've never actually seen it. It's always just ACL. That's how people reference it. They don't actually pronounce the whole thing. But it's the anterior cruciate ligament in his right knee, making a cut against North Carolina, Greensboro, blah, 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 blah. Brazil, 6'10", redshirt sophomore, underwent surgery in late December. Brazil says, I felt 100% for a couple of weeks, but the goal is to feel 110%. Now it's just about being patient. I'm in no rush because obviously we don't play for another month. Eric Musselman said, I think the target date is probably 2 to 2.5 weeks when Brazil can actually go full 5-on-5 or 5-on-5 full speed. But that target can move, so I call it a moving target. So Brazil obviously going to be a huge piece. You don't want to rush him back. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of thought by now he would be more involved in full speed, in a full scrimmage. I thought he'd be more. I thought by now it would be at least further ahead, But he does say he's 100%. But when they say they want, when he's saying I want to be 110%, they're talking to the team doctors. They're trying to get the, they want to take the safest route. You don't want to rush it. I get that. You don't want to rush it. I'm just a little bit, because we had heard a little while back that it seemed like he was ahead of schedule, if I remember right. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Maybe Musselman or the reports were coming out. Maybe I read them wrong, but it felt like he was doing good, and considering that span of time, we'd be hearing more about Brazil going full speed by now. But again, don't want to rush it. I'm fine with that. But when you consider the amount of time that they've had, and you've got, November's, like you said, it's a month away, and you're still not going, with the 5-on-5 at full speed. You're not participating in that. I don't know. That's just something at least I think we'll all keep an eye on. I think fans will certainly want all the updates on Brazil. Brazil is going to be a key piece to this puzzle, to the Razorback basketball puzzle for the 23-24 season. If he's healthy all year long, combined with the newbies, the transfers, with Devo coming back, I feel like this team, I like it a lot, and I'm really excited. Then again, it's it's in the air, basketball season. It's around this time. It kind of sucks though, the rhetoric now amongst fans is like, okay, I'm just ready for basketball season. I hate that. Arkansas could change that tomorrow. I certainly believe they could change that narrative. I really do. And it's on them, right? But you look at this roster for basketball, Devo, Graham. We're hearing Graham has had the transformation. Maybe this guy's going to play some defense this year. I think Graham's going to be someone that's going to be asked to step up. I'm hearing Joseph Pinion's tearing it up. Who tweeted that out yesterday? Someone tweeted that Joseph Pinion was on fire. You're going to have Layden Blocker and Bay Fall. You've got all the transfers that are here. Are you guys excited? Are you guys excited for basketball? Have you moved on to basketball, a lot of you? I don't think most of you have. I think a lot of people right now are maybe somewhat, what's the word? I don't want to say cautiously optimistic that Arkansas can turn it around football-wise. You're curious to see whether or not Arkansas could turn it around. And this game might be the decision point for you. I'm going to tell you, A&M's not a bad football team. I said coming into the season, I have no idea what to expect out of the Aggies. They're kind of they're kind of a giant question mark, and I don't know that really we fully know who A&M is. But we'll get to that again just here in a second. How excited are you guys for basketball? Maybe you're not at all excited. Maybe you want to stick to football. Hopefully Pinion turns into J.J. Redick. They're going to need him too, man. I mean, you're going to need that outside presence, and I'm so excited to see what he looks like too. Does he have that big leap that you often hear from the freshman to sophomore level? Do we know for sure Rocket will play? Yeah, again, we're going to get to that here in just a second. All right. Let's get a poll going here, huh? Start a poll. Let's see. Well, I mean, let's just do straight up. Razorbacks win tomorrow. I mean, just straight up. I want to know where you guys are at on this. Razorbacks win tomorrow. That is the poll. There you go. There you go. And when you take the poll, make sure you also like and share. There you go. Bumble's Bouncer says, don't care about basketball until football season is over. See, no, that's not a diehard basketball fan. I appreciate you for being a Tuss Talk member, Bumbles. I do. I appreciate you. But I don't know, man. When you say you don't care about basketball until football season's over, football season's not over until December. So, I mean, you got some games that are being played right there. The practice video of the basketball team was awesome. TB looked good. Yeah, he did participate. He did practice. He just didn't participate in the 5-on-5, it looks like. He did go on to say the one thing where I think the medical staff has done a great job, and TB has done a great job, is having patience throughout this process. So, yeah, I mean, you got to have patience, man. And then he also goes on to say when you start going 5-on-5, that changes things. So he's going to have an adjustment period probably for the first month of the season. Yeah, and that's something else too. Like November, based on where we're at with his his recovery through all this, his rehabilitation and everything, where we're at right now is screaming to me we may not see Brazil really start to rack up minutes until maybe even January, because you don't play a lot of games in December and you don't play a lot of games in November. We may not see Brazil really. You're going to play. He's going to play. He's going to get solid minutes. He might be. Who knows? You never know with Musselman, but he could start off 12, 13 minutes, or maybe 15 to 20, and then he's casually just kind of building up more and more based on what Musselman sees and how Brazil reacts. And then January, you could see him go full speed. He could be, now he's getting the 35 plus minutes, depending on his, foul trouble and stuff like that, and just and how long he could stay in a game too, based on that point, which is what we're talking about anyways when you're talking about slowly bringing him in. But I think January is going to be – I think January, I'm willing to bet this thing is – you're going to see a lot of Brazil. Like, it's going to be – and also so much of it's based on just where he's at. Just where he's at. I mean, this maybe he does get to 110%. In November, it's light, but then all of a sudden, the last couple of games in November, you're seeing him, he's racking up those minutes. Musselman did say too, and we're going to kind of make this a little bit of a basketball update. Musselman said senior guard Devo Davis in his 4th season is the team's best conditioned player. Man, I'm ready I don't care, man. I'm ready for basketball. I'm so excited. Conference is when we need them the most, and that's when you start playing your conference games, right? January is when it kicks in. All right. How many T's does Brazil get? Ross Henry says the Aggies seem very confident about the outcome tomorrow. Well, they always do. And it probably helps if they've won, 10 out of the last 11, right? Flamingo Friday for the win. What's up? Don't read the comments. Speaking of don't read the comments, we already went over it. But I will be with them tomorrow. All day, man. My guy rocking the dual shades. That's right, baby. Dual shades Friday. Flamingo Friday and dual shades Friday. Why not? All right. Let's get into Aggie talk. Let's go. Philip says ad. Listen, you're going to get ads, Philip. I'm sorry, man. YouTube has changed the game a little bit in the way they do things. I'm very excited about basketball. That said, I haven't given up on the football season yet. I think we still can have a good season, says the back 40. I'll watch to help support. I appreciate that. I think you could skip them, right? Are the ads skippable? And by the way, if you sign up for YouTube's premium, whatever it is, it's like I think it's like $12 a month. I have it. I might actually discontinue it. I don't know yet, but it skips all the ads for you. Okay, somewhere. Okay, good. You guys could skip them. That's good. That's the good news. I mean, yeah, as soon as an ad hits, I mean, just kind of is what it is, All right. A&M is a very fascinating team this year. They're not ranked. They were ranked. Now they're not ranked. Texas A&M this year is 3-1. Their only loss coming to Miami, where they won or lost 48-33. They are currently 1-0 in conference play. They beat Auburn 27-10. Miami scored the most points of the season that they've had all year, through 4 games, on A&M. Or tied for the most. They also turned around the next weekend and then beat Bethune 48-7. And again, the week before that, they beat A&M 48-33. So, how good is Texas A&M? We don't really it's still kind of I don't know. They beat Auburn, which is right now their high quality win is against Auburn. 27-10. Auburn, who right now is 3-1. Arkansas will play them later on in the year. A&M, going over these numbers here really quick. Yeah, they've won 10 of the last 11. I scrolled way too far up. So let's take a look at A&M on offense here really quick. Points per game, they're doing pretty good. They're 30th in the country. Or excuse me, not that's total offense. Yards per game, they're 30th in the country. 451 yards a game is where A&M's at so far. Not bad considering they've played 2 Power 5 opponents. They're throwing the ball, shocker, really well under Petrino. 300-plus yards per game, 12 passing touchdowns. Again, that's 18th in the SEC. They're in the top half. Or that's 18th in the NCAA, sorry. Top half of the SEC. So they're throwing the ball very effectively. They're running the ball. It's not been as effective. They're not running the ball great, yet they're still getting around 150 yards, about 5 yards per rush per game. So 150 yards per game, 598 rushing yards on the season, 7 rushing touchdowns. I mean, they're somewhat balanced to a degree, although they threw the ball. I think it was against Miami. They threw the ball like 53 times. I mean, it is Petrino. And that's something I remember him, what he would do here. You knew if you threw the ball above 50 times, that was a game where it was, you either lost or you were up against it. You really felt the pressure, and he would just open up the offense. You remember Paul Petrino the following year after Bobby was fired? He threw the ball like 45, 50 times a game. No wonder they broke all those records. And Kobe Hamilton has a couple of records from that season, if I recall. The red zone offense, also pretty effective. They're 18. Let's see if I'm looking at that right. Well, hang on. Yeah, the red zone offense is 17th. It's 17th in the country. So again, they're I might be getting that mixed up. Don't quote me on that stat. That stat didn't pull up right. But their scoring offense is 17th. They're averaging about 40 points a game. Again, that includes a loss to Miami. They still did okay offensively. Defense, their secondary is pretty stout. Passing yards allowed, they're giving up about 164 yards a game. That's actually really good. I think that's somewhere in the top. I think that's like top 3 in the SEC. Their secondary is pretty stout, but I would argue if you look at their resume, they've only played one fantastic passing offense. They've thrown, and that was against Miami. Tyler Van Dyke was really effective against A&M. I actually caught a little bit of that game, and that guy did not miss a throw. I think he was 31 of 36 or something. I mean, he picked A&M secondary apart. Their other matchups are against teams that don't throw the ball very well. So, again, that's one of those stats that you look at, okay, their passing defense is having statistically a really good year. We know they have talent. Do they marry the two this year? Well, unless Miami is just an elite passing team, which Van Dyke's off to a good start, who really knows how good their secondary really is? This will be their biggest test in conference so far, and I'm not sure how effective Arkansas's passing game really is. LSU secondary has been booty cheeks this year. LSU secondary has been awful. They're not good. But I still think Arkansas is more effective in the passing game. I mean, all you have to do is slap KJ's name on the topic, and it's like, well, yeah, no, they're going to pass the ball more effectively because they have KJ, and Dan Enos is maybe he'll game plan to try and spread their defense out a little bit, spread out the back end of the defense, maybe try and throw a couple of deep balls. They were somewhat effective in that area. Actually, they were really effective in that area last week. Again, against a not good secondary of the LSU Tigers. They don't allow a lot of rushing yards either. They're only giving up about 110 yards a game. They rank right inside the top 40. And if I'm looking at this right, they've only given up one opponent rushing touchdown all year. That's got to be the best in the SEC, or at least up there with like Alabama and maybe Georgia. That's through 4 games. That's kind of unheard of. And their scoring defense right now is it's tied for 32nd in the country, but they're only giving up 18 points a game. We know they got some skill. Their front 6 and their defense, Shamar Turner is someone who stands out on the defensive line. This finally feels like a year where A&M is kind of backing up what they've got. Again, I'm going to stress they've only played one good offensive football team so far. I don't know that I'd put Arkansas in the good category on offense or not. Right now, I would say they're kind of so-so. They're very inconsistent. They're very inconsistent. I'm hoping what happened against LSU carries over into this game. Maybe that was a confidence booster for Arkansas against LSU. But A&M, their front six is really good. I mean, it is, and they've only got, I think, the only transfers that really get to play for them, Jeriante Davis, number 22, and Josh DeBerry. Josh DeBerry came over from Boston College, and if I remember right, Arkansas actually, I want to say Arkansas reached out to him. And they'll have maybe a couple of freshmen in the mix. Torin York, middle linebacker, will probably be in the mix. Maybe DJ Hicks, number 13. He's a Russian. They're really big on. They got a few freshmen on that defense this year that are good enough to break into that, to the two deep at A&M. I mean, they're just, they had the number one. You look at the recruiting history, it's no wonder. Yeah, on offense, no Connor Wegman. It's going to be Max Johnson. This is what I'll say about that situation, is that they probably have the best quarterback situation in the SEC. When you talk about, like, it's not as big of a drop-off between Wegman and Max Johnson. I know everyone wants to talk about Criswell. I'm saying this based on what we've seen. Now, he could make some boneheaded mistakes. Max Johnson can and has. But that is a really good situation to go from Wegman to Max Johnson. I think Max is a little bit more – he's going to be more prepared. He's obviously a upperclassman. He's a senior transfer. So I think that's a pretty good situation for them to be in. It's not a huge drop off. I do think Wegman's better. I think he was having a really good year. Arkansas has seen. We know about Max Johnson. Okay. Does this tilt in Arkansas's favor that you're not facing Wegman versus now you're going to play Max Johnson? I think it does a little bit, but again, it's not a huge drop off. You lost your number one guy. You lost your starter. That's hard for any team to overcome. But the good news again for them is that they're gonna go to Max Johnson. That's got to be one of the best backup. That's got to be the best QB1, QB2 combos, or one of the tops. Neither one of them are elite. I'm not saying either one of them are like, top 3 quarterbacks in the league. But what I mean is going from Wegman with the kind of year that he was having, going to Max Johnson based on what we know and what we've seen from him. And by the way, he has played this year, and he's throwing the ball really well. He went in last weekend against Auburn. And say what you want. We know Auburn at least has talent, and they're going through a bit of a rebuild over there. But he came in and what was he, 7 of 11, 2 touchdowns. All of a sudden that offense really started to go. And of course, for Auburn, it's like, well, now you're going from Wegman to Max Johnson, but you'll at least have some tape. You'll at least kind of know what you're in for with Max. That's the good news for Arkansas. They arrested Tupac's killer. What? Nuh-uh. For real? Don't do this to me. Not in the middle of a live. Come on now. Hold up. We're gonna check the Twitters. Did they really? I don't know, man. You guys lately are batting. You've got a solid batting average when calling this stuff in these shows. I'm only seeing Tim Allen and the Kardashians. State of emergency. Oh boy. I'm not seeing anything about Tupac's killer. So I'm not saying it's not true. It's just not something like that you'd think would be trending. Ezekiel Elliott. Oh boy. What's he trending for? What's the rest in peace? Is this Feinstein? Because I know she passed away. Dumbledore passed away. Oh, man, that sucks. That's sad. 85 years old. I'm not seeing it on the Twitter yet. Again, doesn't mean it's not happening. Just means it's not trending. Why is Tim Allen trending? Oh, God. Did he piss off Disney? Oh, no. We're not going to get into that. Anyways, they have arrested someone in connection with the killing. Okay. I heard they stormed a house in, like, Iowa or something. Mike and them says Auburn is terrible. I see what you did there. Mike. Freeze even taking the hits for bad quarterback play so fans don't jump on Thorne. Yeah, they are in a little bit of a situation. They're in a rebuild. I'll post it in Discord. Yeah, please do. I want to read that. Man, that was a big deal. I was in what was I in 7th or 8th grade when Tupac was killed? Man, that shook Ramey Junior High now, I'm telling you. They arrested Diddy. Oh, no. Hey, gang. What's up, Jumpmaster Scott? How you doing? Air Force 23 says Ty blocking the sun more than the O-line can block Kent State. That's right. That sun stands no chance. Let's get an update on this poll. Razorbacks win tomorrow. 80% of you are saying yes. 20% of you are saying no. So, again, if you haven't already, go ahead and take the poll. What's going on with Davenport? Oh, I don't know. Which Davenport are you speaking of? I mean, I assume you're talking about Jeremiah, but Arkansas's keys to victory. I mean, I'll just say this: has to be involved. Luke has to be involved. This guy, he's special. I mean, it is so crazy to me how much he reminds me of Peyton Hillis, and I'm gonna harp on that. I know he's not built like Hillis. I'm not saying he's that monstrous, And if you remember, Hillis wasn't exactly like massive. He didn't get massive. The Peyton Hillis we think of today is the Cleveland Browns Peyton Hillis, where that dude looked like he spent 12 hours a day in the weight room. He wasn't like huge. So keep in mind, could still build himself up, right? His physique and his frame. But he reminds me of him. He's got a wide catch radius. He's not afraid of contact, and he tries to run through people. And he's built similar. And he's a little bit taller than Hillis. Hillis was like, what was he? What was Hillis? I've stood side by side next to him in the mall when he was a freshman at Arkansas. True story. If Arky 56 were here, he'd tell you we were walking in the mall and Hillis walked right by me. I was 6'2" at the time, maybe a tall 6'2". He wasn't that far. I mean, he's tall. So Hillis was tall. So Haz is probably about 6'3", 6'4", and so he's a little bit taller than Hillis. He just reminds me, he's got the athleticism. He's not afraid of contact. He wants to bully you when he's got the ball in his hands. He's got a great catch radius, big hands, can make big plays. Luke has to be involved, man. Number 9 has to be involved. They're going to be difficult to throw the ball on. I think A&M's defense, I think their front six is actually really good, and it kind of concerns me that finally, maybe since 2020, A&M has a front six that can be imposing at times. I mean, they've got some studs. They've got guys all over the field. Now, here's something that A&M doesn't do very well. There were a couple of things that I was looking at. Their takeaway defense. Again, I don't know if I think I got this right. 2 takeaways all year through 4 games. They're not super active when it comes to turnover or forced turnovers. And then and we'll flip the script where they're really good, where they stand out on defense. 3rd down. They are impressive. I don't know who's better, them or Utah. Statistically, Utah is, but still. Opponents have only converted 10 of 49 3rd down attempts. That's a .204 average. They're good on 3rd down, man. They're really good. In fact, I think the Miami game, despite scoring 48 points, they were just 3 of 9 on third down conversions, while A&M was 8 of 18. So they're pretty good. Again, I'm going to stress they haven't played but one really good offense so far this year. So that number is somewhat skewed. I think Arkansas might be able to have a little bit of success on offense. I just hope to hell they try to avoid third downs. You're going to need big plays on first and second down. That's just a credit to Texas A&M. On the ground, they've got a couple of guys that can run the ball. I know they're really big on Levon Moss. That's a dude that's averaging 6 yards a carry. Amari Daniels was averaging 6 yards a carry. I think, these three. So you've also got Reuben Owens, who's just south of 4 yards. They're averaging as a team about 5 yards a carry, 7 rushing touchdowns. But again, they've got 12 passing touchdowns through 4 games. That's three scores a game through the air. They've only been picked off twice. They've only been sacked 6 times all year. Now, that's going to change because Max Johnson's not Connor Wegman. Max Johnson is athletic. I mean, again, some of you already know all about Max, but for those of you who might be a little bit on the outside looking in, he is a little bit athletic. He has kind of that, I don't want to say true dual threat quarterback speed, but he has the athleticism to move. He can move. But he's not a Connor Wegman. Wegman, who was averaging 5 yards a carry, he had 63 yards coming into this game. Max Johnson has 7 carries for -5 yards. Wegman also had 2 rushing touchdowns before the injury. Unfortunate for him. He's out for the rest of the year. Really unfortunate. And that is, I mean, if you talk to most A&M fans, they'll tell you, yeah, that's a little bit of a blow, but we ought to be fine. Max Johnson should be good enough to carry us a little bit. Do I think that impacts their overall ceiling? I think it does. Yeah, I think it absolutely does. I mean, Wegman was on fire. I mean, he really was. He was having a really good year. 69%, almost 1,000 yards through the air, 8 passing touchdowns, just 2 picks. But again, Max Johnson so far this year is 20 of 31. So just 11 incompletions there for 226 yards. He's throwing for just south of 65%. 4 touchdowns, no picks. He's not turning the ball over. Now, I think they've put the ball in the field, maybe 2-3 times. But I don't think they have a lot of fumbles lost. Again, on defense, guys like Walter Nolan, Chris Russell, I believe these guys are all full go. Shamar Stewart's got 2 sacks on the year. Josh DeBerry's already got a pick for A&M on the year. They're going to have Arkansas, again, keys to victory. Get Has involved and establish the running game. I don't know if Rocket's – I don't know how much we're going to see Rocket on Saturday. I think we see him. You never know. I mean, they may kind of take the Brazil approach. They may say, you know what, he's not 100%. We don't want to risk anything, with him in his future. We all know Rocket's he's got it in him to play at the next level. I'm not saying he's going to be great at the next level, but he's got it in him to get drafted this year. I'm sure that's on their minds. I'm sure it's on Rocket's mind and those around him, and the team doctors are going to make their recommendations. We're going to see what happens. I feel like we see Rocket on Saturday. I watched him on Monday and Tuesday. I actually got film. I put a YouTube short out. He looked full speed. Now, that's in practice. He was in shorts on Monday, helmet and shorts, and then full pads on Tuesday. He was full go. I mean, he looked, that's different. You're not taking contact. You're not you're not playing a game, right? It's you're not doing a full scrimmage. You're not doing anything like that. So we don't really know what to expect out of Rocket just based off what he did for Monday and Tuesday. But talking to Sam, when Sam was talking to the media on the Zoom call, it seems to me like Rocket's going to play. He's going to at least travel, maybe get a few carries, but he's a big piece on the chessboard. Rocket needs, assuming he's healthy and they're not worrying about, there's no worry of further injury. I mean, you're always risking further injury, but if he's full go 110% or even 100%, you got to play him, man. Establish the run game, and we'll see what else happens, right? This isn't the best defense you're going to play all year, right? Alabama will probably be that. Alabama's probably going to be the best defense that you play all year. Mizzou's a little bit salty on defense. There's a couple other teams that are kind of in that mix. We talk about either improved on the defensive side of the ball or playing really, really good. A&M's in that category of they're playing really good and they're definitely improved on the defensive side of the ball. It's a hard game to gauge right now. The what is it, 6.5? Is that the line? Is it still 6.5? I think it is. Matchup predictor has Arkansas at 27%. So obviously A&M gets that 72. So 72.7. Arkansas is 27.3. The line is at minus 6.5. So A&M's favored by either a couple of field goals or whatever. I love how they give you game time weather for a game that's indoors. Over-unders at 53.5. This one's hard, man. I mean, it kind of depends if you get the confidence booster from the LSU game and you've got a healthy Rocket Sanders, I want to take Arkansas to either win or to at least cover, make it like a field goal or a 1 point, 2 or 3 point kind of game. Without Rocket and assuming A&M is just that good on defense, I think they're better than LSU is on defense, and they've got an experienced quarterback who's going to take over the QB1 role this week. It's A&M, and I think it's A&M probably covering the spread. So I almost just don't even want to make a prediction because I really – this could be anything. This is one of those games that feels like it really could be anything. It could be similar to what we saw Arkansas and LSU last weekend, or it could be, Arkansas comes in there and, you know what, they're tired of the bullshit. Rockets, whether you have Rocket or not, maybe it's Dominion. A.J. Green was in a green jersey this week, so I don't know how healthy he is, but he got some health concerns. And Devin Manuel, by the way, could make his first start on Saturday. And Manuel, I will say the offense was better when he kind of came into his own and when he had a few snaps under his belt. Arkansas's offensive line looked like it got better. There are some positives here, man. I mean, imagine if you got Devin Manuel playing as good as I think a lot of us believe he can play, and you had a fully healthy Rocket Sanders. Like, it makes me want to take Arkansas. I'm going to go with the assumption we're going to get a limited Rocket, and then A&M's defense is just that good. Their front six is pretty solid so far. I mean, just based on what we've seen so far, they could collapse. We all know it's Jimbo Fisher. Only God knows how this team finishes. But I am going to take A&M, and I'm going to take them to cover the spread. I think it's probably going to be something like a 10, 12-point win. I'm thinking 30 to maybe 32-20, something like that. So I'm close. The over-under's 53.5. So I'm going to take A&M. So back-to-back weeks, I'm picking the other team to cover the spread. I was wrong last week. I did pick LSU to win, but I thought LSU would cover. I'm thinking A&M does cover. I got to see it, guys. I got to see it. I'm not too thrilled about what's going on in the offense. I don't think if you lose this game, the season's over. I'm not on that bus. I know that, you look at last year, you lost this game, you still went 6-6. And by the way, you also lost to Liberty and you lost to Mizzou. So I'm not buying that if you lose this game, it's over. I think A&M is just a pretty sound team. They're a pretty good team. Their only loss comes at the hands of an undefeated ACC school with a really good quarterback. That's their only loss. Again, if Rocket's fully healthy and Devin Manuel shows us more, assuming he gets to play, I'm sure he will. He'll at least play, if not start. If we get what happened last week on the field, that product, minus the damn penalties, minus the mental errors, cut those in half. Just cut them in half. It's still not good. It's still, too many penalties, at least 6 penalties, but you would kill for 6 penalties. And honestly, 6 penalties isn't that bad, assuming they're not, those pesky 10 or 15 yarders. But cut those penalties in half. Let's see that offensive line. I think they've done a decent job of run blocking. Let's pick up pass blocking. By the way, they're considered one of the worst. I think it was PFF that released that graphic. Arkansas was dead last in pass blocking efficiency. I still cannot believe people were willing to give them a pass last week. Their pass blocking has been cheeks, guys, all year. It's almost like is Devin Manuel the key? It's hard for me to buy that he's going to solve all their problems, but if Devin Manuel's the guy at left tackle this weekend, I feel a hell of a lot better. And again, if Rocket's fully healthy, that could change the whole thing. If Rocket plays, and if he gets at least 12 to 15 snaps, or 12 to 15 carries, and he's also a bigger role. He plays a bigger role in the passing game. I really hope we see, they need to open up more screens and tunnel and smoke screens, more draws, utilize the RPO. When KJ's got a clean pocket, he's not bad, but when he's rolling, when the pocket's moving, he's very effective, especially over the middle to the right. We went over those numbers when was that? Monday, I think. We went over those numbers. Over the middle to the right, when that pocket moves, he's very effective outside of the pocket. We know he's good on the deep ball. If Rocket's full go, then I'm damn near willing to pick Arkansas because I do think he could have a little bit of success on the ground game, and maybe not, but he's another piece on the chessboard that A&M have to factor in. That's another hat you got to worry about. DeBinion doesn't create that kind of concern for a defense. A.J. Green doesn't do that. Dominic Johnson doesn't do that. Although I think those guys are capable of having good games, I'm simply saying when you're talking about prep, when you're talking about highlighting names, Rocket is like one of probably the 6 best running backs in college football when he's fully healthy. That's what he brings to the board. And even if he's not super effective, again, that's something the A&M defense is going to have to factor. They're going to have to factor into what they're doing and the kind of adjustments they're going to have to make, assuming he's full go. I'm sure they practiced all week like they're going to have to deal with him. And that's a big deal. I think I don't know how successful Arkansas is going to be on the offensive side of things. I don't. The defense is probably going to have their hands full a little bit. That's why I'm taking A&M. But again, Rocket to me swings this game. Maybe not 10 points, but he swings it. I think he swings it a full score for sure. And then the rest is in God's hands at that point. A&M has won this game. That's another thing. Like last year, I said the same thing. I'm pretty sure I picked A&M. Pretty sure I picked A&M to win that game because I said Arkansas just doesn't win this game. That's another reason. I'm hoping if they do lose, it's a game that they just play well on both sides of the ball, and they just had some bullshit happen, like a goofy fumble, or maybe a missed field goal or something. Like, I hope it's something where we see improvement on both sides week to week. We saw the improvement last week on offense. Again, a lot of that's who you played. I'm not buying LSU's defense. I'm not buying LSU stock either to win the championship. I'm sorry. Right now, I'm not even sure I'm buying them. They're going to probably win the West, depending on what happens between them and Alabama. But I'm not buying them outside of, in the playoffs. I'm just not. But when you factor that, it seems like we also have seen a little bit of improvement in the run game. It feels like they've kind of found it. You've got Devin Manuel to factor in at left tackle. They have a shot. And listen, this is a tough one. I mean, it really is. This is another one of those games where all week I've been jotting down on Discord in my private server. Okay, Arkansas wins if this happens. A&M wins if this happens. Arkansas, and more times than not, I felt better about what we saw last week. I felt better about the just Arkansas playing a better brand, having a better product on the field. It was just they can't get out of their own damn way. If they can clean up the penalties, and this is going to be a hard place to do it because let's be real, this is not neutral site. It's a joke that anybody calls this a neutral site game. It's not. It's going to be a tough place, but fortunately one side of the field is not all Aggie fans. So you're going to have an opportunity to clean up some mistakes this week. You do that, build off what you did last week, you've got a hell of a shot of winning this game. And again, if Rocket's full go, and I feel like he might get an opportunity, I'm just taking the worst case scenario because we just don't know. We're not inside Sam Pittman's head. I'm taking the worst case scenario that he's probably going to be very, very limited and maybe not play at all. But I think he does. But at the same time, he may not. So I'm going that route. And if that is the case, but now the scenario changes for me if A&M has to deal with Rocket Sanders, that changes the whole thing. Dom John was top tier when he came in, and then he got hurt since he's healed, he hasn't returned to form. What's up with that? I don't know, man. He's still wearing that brace. I have no idea. Brett Robinson says, yeah, only 6 penalties, ... for Arkansas. They'll occur on 6 straight scoring plays. Pigpen says over under 10 offensive penalties. I don't know. Wow, Leslie's really buying into Arkansas. She's got Arkansas going in there and whooping some ass. 48-24. I love the enthusiasm. Bumbles bounce says 28-24 Arkansas. It could happen, man. I don't think it's going to be high scoring. I don't know that I see this thing getting into the 40s for Arkansas at least. But it could be one of those that just comes to the could come down to the last drive, as it seems like they always do. They always come down to some bullshit. Hey, what do you know? YouTube finally gave me a fan funding page. So now I can separate Super Chat. Why did this take them so long? I still can't put it on the screen, which is stupid. There's a top chat section, and then there's a live chat section. Okay, I don't know the difference between top and live, but whatever. Some messages such as potential spam. Oh, okay. That's the top. Okay. If something fluky happens, we will all be crushed again. KJ Jefferson fumble to start the game. I mean, you guys remember he was scoring. How much just the bullshit that happens in this game. It never goes in Arkansas's favor. Ever. And, yeah, being a little dramatic there. Maybe they had a couple things go their ways over the years, but it seems like more times than not, A&M, there's always some bullshit. I'm not sure they overcome penalty situations. They had 4 games to fix it. I mean, I don't know about that. You can always – that is something you can get fixed in practice. That's one of those – mental errors are something you can overcome. I just don't know that I have complete faith that they will. I think it's probably going to be something like 8 or 9 penalties. I don't know. Going back to our poll, 80% of you say Arkansas is going to win tomorrow. Man, I really hope. I really hope you guys are right. Hog Dog says A&M 34, Arkansas 24. That's about where I'm at. I think it's going to be something like 30-20, something like that. And again, A&M doesn't give up a lot of points, just 18 points a game. Keep that in mind. Arkansas's defense is better than where they were a year ago. I still have questions about the secondary. Not like they're bad. I think they're still going to be, hovering around the 60s and the 50s by the time the year's over. The goalpost boink heard around the nation, especially in the SEC, right? All right, we're going to end that poll. If you haven't taken it, now's your chance. You get a final chance here to take that poll. 3, 2, 1, end. There you go. You going to do a post-game call-in show? Dan, I don't know what we're going to do. We are we're going to have – I'm doing a live – a game time live, the entire game. I'm going to be live with the Don't Read the Comments podcast with their podcast. Here's their right there. I'm going to be live with them the whole game, and I'm going to do a post game. I don't know if we're going to make it a call-in show at the end or not. We're going to probably play it by ear to some degree. There's probably going to be some, this is something I've never done before. I've thought about doing it on this channel. I've never done it. So this will be, it'll be fun regardless. Please put Isaiah in offense tomorrow, says Steve-O. Yeah. I really wish he was seeing the field more. I really wish he was. So I'll sum it up one last time. Get number 9 involved. Has to be involved. Cut down on your mistakes, especially on offense, on both sides of the ball, but especially on offense. Give KJ time, something I didn't talk about. Give KJ time to throw the damn ball. God in heaven. It's going to be tough. This is going to be tough. A&M's, we all know how much talent they have. Get the run game going early would be lovely. I mean, because we've seen how effective Arkansas can be once they get the run game going, how effective that offense can be. And that's part of the inconsistency, right? The run game was piss poor, first 2 weeks, and then they kind of got it going. And then the pass game was inconsistent. Get the run game going. I don't know who. I'm going to assume it's going to be DeBinion if Rocket's not full go. If Rocket's full go, get him involved. Get him involved in the passing game. Throw out into the flats to him a little bit. Dump the ball off to him. Little short dump-off throws. Get him. You've got to feed your studs. And on defense, don't let Max Johnson get comfortable. That dude, you're going to look at the stat sheet and all of a sudden he's going to be 15 of 20 for 200 yards and a couple of scores. Don't let him get comfortable. The run game can gash you too. The run game can do some damage. But it's definitely their willingness to throw. Bobby Petrino calling plays, as we all know. Hang on to your seats. This game is again. It'll be another one. It'll be another bullshit game, where something crazy happens, or someone just gets blown out. I mean, you could always see that happening too. And maybe Arkansas, they're just tired of it. They're tired of the negativity. Sam is clearly tired of it. You know, he wants to move on. He wants to get a win. I know he's not enjoying the feeling right now. Maybe he takes it all out on the Aggies. Again, this is a game you just never know. It just always seems like it goes to A&M. Arkansas could play really good football and still find a way to lose that game tomorrow. This game just always is in there. It's always in the Aggies' favor. So, again, I'm taking the Aggies to cover. I'm thinking, again, it's probably going to be something like, again, 28-18 or 30-20, something like that. So, again, I hope you guys who voted and picked Arkansas to win, I hope you guys are right. They'll make for an even more interesting post-game show. As it's already going to be interesting because I'm going to be side by side next to Travis Ford and Tim Neal on the Don't Read the Comments podcast. That's all going to be live. You guys need to be there. Go subscribe to their channel. I support those guys. I try to watch all their content. They're really funny. They talk about a wider range of things. They're both diehard Hog fans. It's gonna be interesting tomorrow, and we're gonna be doing a little drinking, so might be fun for that. It ought to make for a very fun post game show if I you know if the game gets real bad, I might be. I don't know. Can't promise I'll be 100% sober for the post game show. I'm just kidding. I don't plan on doing that. I am going to drink tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to hanging out with those guys too. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All day tomorrow, man. All day tomorrow. It'll be here. It'll be on their podcast as well. Either one you could watch. We'll be live during the entire game, reacting together. And, yeah, should be fun. Dough ball. That's right. There it is. All right, you guys, don't forget, like, share, subscribe if you're new here. I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy your Friday.
Hey, everybody. This is Travis with the Don't Read the Comments podcast. Tune in this week from kickoff to the end of the game. We're going to be doing another game companion. So if you don't want to hear the BS that they're talking, mute that, turn us on. We're probably going to start day drinking pretty early, so it might get a little crazy. This time we're going to have Ty Hudson from the Tuss Talk with Ty podcast in here with us. At halftime, we're going to do a Spaces, same as last week. Then once the game's over, we're going to host Ty's post-game show on our channel and his simultaneously. So get ready to drink. Let's get it.